Welcome back to Norns Network. My name's Kate, and today we're going to be talking about web components. Now, you may be wondering, what is a web component? A web component is a suite of different technologies that allows you to create reusable custom elements that have their functionality encapsulated away from the rest of your code. So in English, that means a web component is creating a custom class so that you can organize and display information on your web page the way that you want it to be displayed. Oftentimes when creating web pages, developers reuse code as much as they can. So writing complex code over and over again makes the web page super cluttered and almost unreadable. Web components aim to solve that problem by creating versatile custom elements with encapsulated functionality so that it can be reused wherever necessary without the fear of code collisions. Creating a web component is a lot like creating a class in other programming languages or other object-oriented programming languages. You start by creating a class, and then you specify your component's functionality, register your custom element by calling the method and passing in the element that needs to be defined, and then attaching a shadow DOM or HTML template if necessary, and then you can use your element as necessary. Some reasons to use a web component is that it allows us to extend HTML so we can fill in the gaps in the functionality with our own tags. And they're like an umbrella term for the 4 different W3C specifications, and they're custom elements, HTML templates, shadow DOM, and HTML imports. The custom elements let you define your own HTML tabs. The templates enable you to define a block of markup with the ability to inject dynamic content. The shadow DOM gives you the ability to scope markup and styles in a separate DOM tree, and the HTML imports provide a way to include and reuse HTML documents in other HTML documents. And combined, that gives you composability, encapsulation, and reusability. Composability is being able to create a whole site and applications by putting different elements together. Encapsulation is isolating markup, style, and behavior logic so that they don't leak into the rest of the page. And reusability is extending existing elements to create new elements, which allow you to stop reinventing the wheel every single time you use an element on a web page. When creating these custom elements, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either build an element from scratch, or you can take an existing HTML element and extend its capability and kind of make it your own, make it more specific, and do what you want. And there is also the accessibility object model, which helps improve accessibility because it is an experimental JavaScript API. And it has new features that are intended to solve existing accessibility use cases. The way that web components help future-proof development are they free us from frequently changing front-end frameworks like Angular, React, or Vue. And they're taking advantage of the standards that all browser vendors have agreed on. So this gives developers the freedom to use any JavaScript frameworks and building and testing tools that they like without the fear that everything's going to change on them once again. Now, people are using web components more and more, including YouTube, Comcast, and EA Sports. Now, I'm not great at spotting web components, but I will do my best to explain what I can. When you get to a page like YouTube, you can kind of pick up that there are a lot of web components because the same kind of design layout is present over and over again. Like, these are all most likely web components. So one way that you can check is if you click this little box thing here, and then I'll click on this picture and then highlights an area in the HTML that is present on this page, and you can see it's an image, which is standard HTML tag, but it's also in this class stylescope YT-image-shadow. So if you scroll up, YT-image-shadow, and that is the web component. This highlighted chunk is for this specific web component. But if I scroll up and I click on this YT-image-shadow, which is the same as this YT-image-shadow, you can see that they are the same web component, because when I click on this and it highlights this and I move up and highlight over this YT-image-shadow, it's still the same. They just have different sources, because each of these web components is obviously different. But it's very useful to have web components, because if not, then this would be absolutely littered with the same code with different variables over and over and over again, and it would be basically unreadable. So web components are super useful. They're good at helping the developers stay organized, and if you want to work in front-end stuff, I would definitely check them out. I hope you learned something today, and I will see you all next week.